That seems to be on. So, hi there. Today we have got Sukhy, who's going to be doing a mock test.
Hello.
And you may have noticed, Sukhy, because we also recorded your first lesson, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
So this will be quite interesting to see so people can see your progress of your sort of first lesson to basically one of your last lessons. Yeah, and just so you know, Sukhy, how the test is going to work.
Okay.
So it's going to last about 40 minutes, driving on various types of roads, all sort of roads we would have been practicing.
Okay.
It's going to include one reversing manoeuvre,
Right.
and possibly an emergency stop. And there's going to be about 20 minutes of independent driving,
Okay.
which today is going to be following the sat nav, as you might guess.
Right.
And basically, when on the drive today, if you can continue to follow the road ahead at all times.
Okay.
If I want you to turn left or right, I'll let you know in plenty of time.
Okay.
Of course, at any point if you're not sure of where to go, even when you're following the sat nav,
Right.
do feel free to ask me. Please don't stay quiet, just ask, and then I can then reconfirm or re-clarify where I'd like you to go.
Okay.
And what we're also going to do is the show me, tell me questions. So we've got one tell me question I'm going to ask you just in a moment, and I'm going to also ask you a show me question while we're driving to demonstrate one of the controls in the car.
Right.
So to start with, let's do a tell me question. Can you tell me how you would check the brakes are working before starting a journey? This is a good example of why it's really important to listen carefully to what the examiner's asking you, so you don't get confused with what they're asking. And also it's really important that you need to know the show me, tell me questions, so you can be confident in giving your answer.
Right. You would ask someone to go to the back of the car while it's on, and then you would press down on the brakes and see if the brake lights are working.
So is that how you would check the brakes are working?
Oh no, that's the brake lights.
Okay, how would you check the brakes are working?
It's I don't know the answer to that one.
Okay, that's no problem. Sukhy's first driving fault there is unfortunately he didn't know the answer to the question. The answer should be something along the lines of, when I press the brake pedal, the brakes should not feel spongy or slack. I should feel some resistance in them. I could also test by moving the car forward slowly and pressing the brake to make sure they respond. And when I'm braking, the car shouldn't steer to one side. Problem. I'm also going to ask you a show me question when we're on the move.
Right.
So, any questions before we move off?
No.
Cool. And as we sort of just discussed before we turned on the camera, the sat-nav's basically set up to start at the test centre.
Right.
If you just continue to follow the road, go past the test centre, and then the sat-nav will basically recalculate and restart the route. If it doesn't calculate in time, then I'll advise you where to go.
Okay.
But it normally just about works out, just about in time. So unless you've got any questions, we will move off when you're ready and continue and start to follow the sat-nav. Sukhy prepares the car well by getting it in gear, setting his gas and finding the biting point. Some good mirror checks. It's also good to see when Sukhy pulls away, he does also check his blind spot. Just there. It's good work.
After 300 yards, turn left, the pavilions, then you have reached your destination.
So nice. So just to clarify, just continue to follow the road ahead for the moment.
Turn left, then you have reached your destination.
Santa's not going to just, the roundabout's going to be turning right to do a U-turn to go all the way around and back down this road.
Go around the roundabout and take the 4th exit, Brighton Road. You will arrive at your destination at 2:58 p.m.
Speed limit changed to 50 miles an hour as we enter the new road, as you'll see just here. So remember, always look for those speed limit changes as you enter a new road. Make some good progress here, getting to 47 miles an hour as it's quite safe. Nice clear road, nice and wide, not many hazards around, so we want to make some good progress. A couple of hazards coming up here, some parked vehicles on the left. So Sukhy slows the car nicely to be more prepared in case maybe the parked vehicles move off or open the door. And also because there are oncoming vehicles, making the road a bit narrower. So good speed choice and good positioning here from Sukhy. And now we've cleared the hazard, Sukhy does well to build his speed and to make some more progress. He's a bit safe on this bit of road here. Good mirror check from here and there as well before he increases his speed.
After 400 yards, cross the roundabout and take the first exit, Brighton Road. Cross the roundabout and take the first exit.
Speed limit still remains at 50 miles an hour on this road, as there was no signs to change it, and the vehicle in front is going to tad slow, but Sukhy does well to hold back and keep a safe following distance. Particularly important to hold back from someone in front who's going quite slowly, as they might be going slowly because they don't know the area, and perhaps they're looking for their turn. They might then see their turn late because they don't know the area, and brake quite late and signal late, so by holding back, you're going to have much more time to respond to that. We can see the vehicle in front braking, so Sukhy does well to check his mirrors, and then notices the speed limit changing to 30 miles an hour. We can tell that's happening because of the white picket fences on either side of the road with the 30 mile an hour signs on them.
After 400 yards, go left on the roundabout and take the first exit, B2110, High Beaches Lane.
On your test, the examiner is going to ask you to pull up on the left several times. One of these times might be on a slightly busier road, such as this road here. That's to assess your ability to stop and start in flowing traffic. Despite Sukhy not pulling over when he is asked to, no fault is given, as he technically didn't do anything wrong. And what I'd like to do, Sukhy, I'd like to find a safe place to pull up on the left, just somewhere along this road. You could do that, would be great. Due to the slight confusion of the pulling over on the left, Sukhy doesn't notice the national speed limit sign as he turns into this road, and at first he thinks it's still 30.
Is it alright to pull up on the left here?
We'll leave that for the moment. So yeah, but it's just something we need to do, is basically to pull up on the left sometimes on slightly busier roads. Demonstrate your ability to move off and stop in flowing traffic. So we'll carry on this road, please. So we'll leave that for the moment. We'll come back to that later. Due to Sukhy missing the national speed limit sign, he's a little bit slow at the moment, staying at about 30. But he checks the sat-nav and sees the sat-nav confirms the speed limit is 60. Now in this situation, he got away with this. In some situations, the sat-nav is going to have the wrong speed limit on it. So be careful not to always rely on what the sat-nav says. But what you can do here, you can notice we're no longer in a built-up area with street lighting. So therefore the speed limit is no longer going to be 30 here. Second driver fault coming up. Sukhy positions too close to the centre line and starts to go over the centre line. You can even hear it as he rumbles over the cat's eyes. Good progress made from Sukhy here, getting up towards about 50 miles an hour as the road's quite straight, not very many hazards here, and the road's a fairly decent width. So good work, Sukhy. Good to see gear 5 being used. If you've got a nice straight, flat bit of road, get into the highest possible gear, and it's going to save you some fuel. Of course, you're in gear 5, like Sukhy does here, make sure you change down the gears after you've slowed down for the bends. Good choice to go to gear 3 here. Gear 3 is a really good gear if you've got really bendy, windy roads like the bit just there. If it's just a slight mild bend, gear 4 might be okay, but if it's a really long straight bit of road, you get into gear 5.
When it's safe to, Sukhy, can you just show me how you would use the horn, how you press the horn? That's great, thanks.
No problems there. Show me question done. Maybe it would have been better to go down to gear 3 for these bends, as they're a bit sharper, it's a bit narrow, and it's really quite windy. Sukhy does think about it for half a second, but decides to stay in gear 4. By using gear 3, you would have more control of the car, and you'd also be able to accelerate away from the bends more quickly if the road straightened out. These sorts of bends should be okay in gear 4, because it's just quite a mild bend and it's not winding around too much. However, coming up here, the road gets much tighter and the bends get sharper, so good decision from Sukhy to drop down to gear 3 to give more control and more acceleration power when you get out of the bend. Good decision to go to gear 4 here. The sharp bends have ended, next bends are quite mild, and the road's getting a bit straighter slightly, so get into gear 4, save yourself some fuel. After pulling out from this junction, it'd be nice to see Sukhy do a really good check of his mirrors right now, because he's on a very fast moving road, so there could be a vehicle catching up very fast behind him, and if he saw that happen in the mirrors, it'd be really important to put his foot down and build his speed, so not to slow the driver behind. However, I didn't give a fault for this. notice the national speed limit sign just here. So that speed limit is going to be 60 miles per hour on this road. That will be useful to know in a few moments. Sukhy's speed here is fair enough, as it's got a bit of a bend, a bit of the brow of the hill, so his vision is a bit restricted. So we don't have to go up to the speed limit if it's not safe to. As we pass the brow of this hill, our vision really opens up, and we can see ahead for miles, and it's a really straight clear road, no hazards, no warning signs, fairly wide, and Sukhy just stays about 50 miles an hour. So I'll give a driver fault 3 here for his progress appropriate speed. I'd like to see him make a bit more progress in this straight bit of road, maybe get to 55 or 60. Good example here, why not to always listen to the sat-nav. Look at the picture instead to work out what they mean. The sat-nav said it's the second exit, but it's not really. It's following the road ahead, the first exit.
Cross the roundabout and take the second exit.
Sukhy does well to work that out. You might have seen he's looking at the sat-nav to understand where the exit was, rather than just relying on the voice. He also spotted the 40-mile-an-hour sign as he approached the roundabout. Did you?
300 yards. Cross the roundabout and take the second exit, B2036, towards town centre. Cross the roundabout and take the second exit.
Great positioning there. It's really important for Sukhy to understand he is going to the B2036, as the sat-nav said, and then look for that on the road markings, and Sukhy did that perfectly. Good work, Sukhy. Hi guys, I thought I'd just show you this book to add to your collection. The New Driver's Handbook. It's a 3-in-1 book, and it's got some pretty good reviews from a driving examiner and a driving instructor. It has over 800 practice theory test questions, common driving test faults, driving test general tips, and advice on dealing with nerves on the big day. Finally, it has tips for after you've passed your test, including vehicle maintenance and driving abroad. You can find a link to this book in the description below. Now, back to the video.
After 300 yards, cross the roundabout and take the second exit, B2036, Balkan Road.
And just to advise you here, this roundabout's actually a right turn, not a straight ahead as the sat-nav almost implies.
Cross the roundabout and take the second exit.
On entering the roundabout, Sukhy's a tad fast, so he doesn't get to check his mirrors or signal to exit the roundabout. He can have sort of checked them there, but at that point he's already exited, so it's almost a bit late. So no faults given, but maybe just a tad slower on that roundabout to make sure you get those mirrors and that signal in before you exit.
And take the second exit, B2036.
And I'd like to find a safe car lanes to fill up on left, just somewhere along here on this road, please.
Nice checks to the mirrors there, and a good use of a signal to tell the vehicles behind and the oncoming vehicles we're pulling over. Signal was possibly a tad early to the side road. It could have looked like turning to the side road, but nothing I'm going to complain about too much, and no fault given.
This is just a routine stop, and if you can please drive on when you're ready.
Because Sukhy can see it's quite busy behind him, he decides to signal to tell the vehicles he wants to pull away, and I think that's fair enough on quite a busy road like this. The vehicle behind decides to slow down and let Sukhy pull out, and Sukhy does well to remember to check his blind spot.
After 100 yards, cross the roundabout and take the second exit, B2036, Balkan Road.
Following the road ahead, and Sukhy signalled right. Not the best idea, as it could look like you're doing a U-turn to other road users. Best to do no signal on approach to that roundabout. Fault given for signals correctly.
Cross the roundabout and take the first exit.
For this roundabout we're going ahead, and Sukhy signals left. This time it's understandable, as that left signal's not going to confuse anyone, but it could help the oncoming vehicles know that you're not going to be turning right and they don't need to give way to you. Notice here the road's dropping down, we're going down a steep hill, so we need to anticipate the speed of the car is going to increase rapidly. Sukhy deals with this well by having his brake pressed to make sure he stays within the speed limit of 30 miles per hour. I imagine many people would fail here for not having the brake pressed and going too fast down the hill.
After 300 yards, cross the roundabout and take the second exit, B2036, Balkan Road. Cross the roundabout and take the second exit.
New road, new speed, 40 miles per hour. Sukhy spots that well and makes a bit more progress on this road as we have a higher speed limit. Good mirror checks before slowing down for the traffic lights. Hard to tell from the camera, but it's a bit fast around that bend. You might have been able to notice by Sukhy's reaction that he wasn't too happy with it, so a driver fault is given for use of speed. Sukhy said he did this as he knew there was going to be a slip road soon, so he's trying to build his speed in preparation. But do try to remember, you need to get around the bend first at a controlled speed, and only increase speed after you've got round the sharp bend. Good speed choice, good use of mirrors and correct use of signals, but it would have been nice to see Sukhy do a sideways glance towards the right just to check if there's something in his blind spot. No fault given. The next roundabout hasn't got the best road signs or road markings to be fair, and we're looking to follow the road ahead second exit and Sukhy chooses the middle lane. It's ideal to use the left lane as the left lane does go ahead towards the second exit. Problem is, if you use the middle lane, when you try to take your exit, there might be a vehicle in your left mirror in the left lane, and you won't be able to take the exit, so you could get blocked off.
cross the roundabout and take the second exit, A2004, Northgate Avenue. Cross the roundabout.
Notice the road markings here. The left lane does go ahead, but as I've said, it does tell you incredibly late, so this roundabout you almost need local knowledge to work out what to do.
And take the second exit.
When Sukhy exits here, it's clear to him on the left. He has some good mirror checks and signals and moves across. Like I said, at a busier time of day, there might have been traffic next to him and he wouldn't then be able to take this exit. He'd have to either go to the next exit, the third exit, or check his mirrors, signal right and move to the inside lane and then go back round the roundabout and try again.
That's going to be the end of the drive, so thanks for that. I'm going to direct you as normal from now on. Just turned off the sound, I'm going to turn it away from you so it doesn't distract you. I'd like you to take the next road on the left, please. And then I'd like you to then pull up and left just before the next parked vehicle. Get quite close to it, about a car length away from it, just so you have enough room to pull away again. Just a bit close, about a car, about a car length away from it. A little bit closer. Yeah, that'd be fine just there. That'd be great. So again, this is just another routine stop. Just basically getting you to stop in just various different situations to see if you can stop and start in various different situations and circumstances.
Okay.
And then if you can please drive on when you're ready. The road, I would like you to turn right. Just before this next parked vehicle, this black one. That'd be fine just there. So, this is now going to be a reverse parking exercise.
Right.
So I'd like you to drive forwards and stop next to this black vehicle.
Right.
And then reverse park to end up reasonably close and parallel to the curb,
Right.
trying to finish within 2 car lengths from the parked vehicle.
Okay.
Now, no doubt you noticed on this occasion there's a driveway there.
Yeah.
So on this occasion, please don't worry about blocking the driveway,
Right.
but please try not to mount the driveway. Just try and treat it as a solid curb.
Okay.
So if you can please start and drive on whenever you're ready.
Great observations here, doing all round checks in all blind spots and all mirrors before reversing. And a nice controlled speed. And good to see Sukhy continuing to check around, not getting fixated on looking in one place. Now at this point, Sukhy has come in a bit too tight and is about to hit the curb. It's good he's noticed that, and he's not actually going to end up mounting the curb, but he is going to need to do a correction. So he does give a driver fault for reverse park control. Nice mirror checks before pulling away. Could have possibly done a blind spot check there. But again, it's good to see Sukhy did check his mirrors, because when people often go to correct the mover, they panic and then they don't observe correctly, and that can become really dangerous. Before reversing, Sukhy's clearly checked all his mirrors and his right blind spot, and he's now looking directly behind him, but you'll soon see the observations directly behind him, direct at the rear window, start to drop. Like he's not really checking it here, he's just checking his left mirror. He's looking a bit ahead there, which is good. And again, he's just getting a little bit fixated on the mirror. Good check of the right mirror in the right blind spot, which is great. But we've had quite a long delay since the last time he looked directly out the rear window. We've still not looked... Oh, there's a look out the rear window. So, quite a big delay there in rear view observations. So, I decided to give a driver fault for reverse park observations. I would just like to see Sukhy be checking directly at that rear window a bit more. And also, when pulling away to do the correction, make sure he also checks that blind spot before pulling away.
So I'm just going to take the sat nav down while I have the opportunity. So, the examiners are very posh, they even have a little bag for their sat nav. Not that posh. So, then if you can please drive on when you're ready.
Nice controlled speed here, good mirror checks, good blind spot check there. Good work, Sukhy.
End of the road, I would like you to turn right. Road on the left, please.
Sukhy gets his next driver fault for this junction coming up. I ask him to turn right, he does his mirrors and signals right, but the signal cancels off and he doesn't realise.
And at the end of the road, turn right. Roundabouts, I'd like you to turn right, please, the third exit. And
Now, I wasn't being awkward there by asking Sukhy to turn left after he got into the right lane, but what I was expecting from Sukhy is after turning right at the roundabout, we would normally look to exit in the left lane for following the road ahead if it was safe to. It was safe to exit in the left, so that's what Sukhy should have done. If the examiner wanted you to turn right at these traffic lights, they would tell you that on approach to the roundabout. So they'd say to you something like, at the roundabout, I'd like you to turn right, the third exit, then turn right again. It would have been a good idea for Sukhy to check to the right here, just to make sure there's no traffic jumping the red light, such as an emergency vehicle. No fault given. But better position as he turns there, keep into the lane for following the road ahead, as I've not said otherwise. So just always keep trying to remember on your test, if the examiner doesn't say otherwise, always look to be in the lane for following the road ahead. If they want you to turn left or right, and you need to then change into those lanes, they'll let you know in plenty of time.
These traffic lights do take a while, don't they?
Yeah, it's with the temporary ones, isn't it? The timing's not, well, they're not as efficient as the normal lights, are they? Because normally then it's not too bad when it's the normal proper lights.
Good left mirror check there, as the left lane is starting to merge with us. Good speed control here. The speed limit's still 30 miles per hour and we're going down a hill, so Sukhy does well to keep his foot near the brake to make sure he doesn't go over the speed limit.
I'd like you to turn right, please. Place to pull up on the left, just somewhere along this road.
Good use of mirrors and good use of signal, as there is a vehicle behind us and there's also an oncoming vehicle that need to benefit.
That's great, thanks. And if you can please drive on when you're ready.
Nice observations, and there's no one behind us to signal to, But there is this oncoming vehicle, so a signal will be worthwhile, so a fault given for signals necessary.
At the end of the road, turn left. Turn right, and at the roundabout turn left.
Good judgment here from Sukhy, as the vehicle on the right, the white one or silver one, is holding back for us to let us pull out halfway. And then as we pull out halfway, the vehicle on the left also holds back for us, and Sukhy notices this well and responds to the situation well. Nice use of Sukhy's mirrors and his signal here when you return to the left lane after the roadworks. It's an easy one to forget to check your mirrors and signal there, but it's still something you should really be doing. There could be maybe something in the roadwork area you need to be aware of your mirrors, and you want to use that signal to tell drivers behind you are moving back to the left, so they can overtake should they wish to.
Services.
A good tip, if the examiner ever gives you the destination, for example Pease Pottage Services, they're going to be giving it to you for a reason. Here is because Sukhy needs to read the road signs to understand where to position for Pease Pottage Services. He does that well and positions really well on the roundabout and takes the correct exit. Good distance from the vehicle in front here. Sukhy's making sure he can stop so you can see tyres and tarmac. By doing that, you'll have time to react should the vehicle in front roll back, should they stall and then stop unexpectedly, or even time to move around them should they break down.
At the roundabout, I'd like to follow the road ahead, please, the second exit.
Good speed choice for this roundabout. We've got 3 lanes on it, and if a roundabout's ever got 3 lanes, it's probably going to be really damn tight. So make sure you slow down, check to your right, and then be prepared to steer like your life depends on it to keep within your lane. Great mirror checks as the lanes merge. There could be someone overtaking us.
spin around the roundabout at the end, and then park in the parking bay where we started from.
Okay.
Hopefully this time it's empty.
You never know, these two could take it.
Yeah, people do quite like using that parking bay. It's quite a good parking bay. I think they say if you park there before you do your test, you're guaranteed a pass.
What's that?
Positive thinking.
So we're just taking a right at the roundabout, doing a U-turn.
Yeah, correct, yeah. Far along. I'll let you know when we're getting near. I like the route directions, I'll let you plenty of time where we're going. So the parking bay is just me coming up just after this corner. It's just past the speed limit sign you might see there on the left.
Yep.
So we're just pulling into that parking bay, please. Great, so if you just switch the engine off and yeah, make yourself feel comfortable, feel free to open the window more if you want to or anything like that, just to relax for a moment. Just give me a few moments while I complete the paperwork.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the end of the test, and I'm pleased to tell you have passed.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
so you sound a bit surprised.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that.
What was there anything that...
Well, nothing that's picked up immediately. I just thought at some parts it was a bit like choppy or...
Yeah, it was a little bit choppy at parts. I gave you 9 driver faults.
Okay.
There was nothing that would warrant a serious fault though.
Okay.
But I agree, there was a little bits that are a bit choppy at parts. We'll go through that in a moment, because what I'm going to do with this video, I'm going to edit the video and then go through it as it happened.
Okay.
But for the purpose of the video, we're going to end the video just there.
Okay.
So thanks for anyone that's, or hopefully people that are watching. And
Good luck if you need it.
yeah, let's see you later.